What's up everybody in YouTube land? My name is Chris H and this is of course Techie Shapai. So a couple of weeks ago the OnePlus 3 showed up at my doorstep and I've never used a OnePlus device before, so I was actually really excited to be able to use this device because I've heard a lot of really good things about it. And to my actual surprise, I really enjoyed this phone. So here are 3 things that I really liked about the OnePlus 3 and 3 things that I didn't really particularly care for. Doesn't make it bad, but just didn't really personally care for on the OnePlus 3. So the first thing that I really liked about the OnePlus 3, and of course this is one of the first things you notice when you take the phone out of the box, is the design. So the unibody metal design is very nice, very clean looking. I really enjoyed how the phone looked and how the phone felt. The phone felt really nice to hold in the hand, albeit a little bit slippery. So if you're gonna get this phone, I would definitely recommend some type of case. That's why I picked this guy up. You can actually purchase this at the OnePlus 3 website. It's the bamboo case. It's a nice little case. It protects it somewhat, just not the top and the bottom, but makes it not feel quite as slippery. The other thing about the design that I was really surprised in is how they were able to make the phone so thin without making the phone more costly. So the phone retails for about $400 and the thinness of the phone is just absolutely incredible. It's thinner than the Samsung Galaxy S7. This phone, the OnePlus 3, is about 7.3 millimeters thin, while the Galaxy S7 is 7.9 millimeters thin. The clever thing about the phone that I guess kind of encompasses the design, but I didn't really want to make it an extra feature to talk about, but it's part of the design, is the notification toggle, or what OnePlus 3 likes to call the alert slider. So what it is basically, and for you iPhone owners out there, you kind of have one already. You have the little slider on the top left corner where you can slide it down to basically mute all your notifications. So the OnePlus 3 has something very similar. It's in the same location as an iPhone. It's in the top left. There's actually 3 parts to it. So you can toggle between all notifications, you can toggle between priority notifications, and you can also toggle to silent. So I really wish more Android phones would incorporate something like that, because you can easily mute your notifications without actually having to take the phone out of your pocket. And finally, with the design, I really like how they implemented the fingerprint scanner. It's really quick, it's very reactive, so you can literally turn the phone off, tap the fingerprint scanner, and it wakes up. It's very quick. It's very similar to the likes of a Nexus 6P or an iPhone 6s or 6s Plus. The other cool thing about that fingerprint scanner is the way you can kind of customize it. So if you go into your settings, you can actually turn that particular fingerprint scanner into a home button. And then you can also adjust some of the other settings too. So it's really nice how you can not only use it as a fingerprint scanner when you just want it as a fingerprint scanner, or if you're wanting to make it a home button, you just have to turn the setting on. So number 2 is the display. So the display is a 5.5 inch 1080p AMOLED display with a 401 ppi. So if you compare it to, let's say, a Nexus 6P that also uses an AMOLED display, the pixels per inch are definitely a little bit higher on the 6P. Don't get me wrong, the OnePlus 3 has a really good screen. It's still really bright. The colors are a little bit warm, which I actually prefer. But during the daytime, you shouldn't have an issue being able to, use your phone, look at the display, things like that. And if you, compare it to, let's just say, the 6P, you'll notice that the 6P is a little bit brighter. But you wouldn't notice that if you didn't have the phone next to you. The last thing that I really liked about the phone is the operating system called Oxygen OS. You can turn things on like gestures, touch to wake, or even changing the accent colors, or if you want the settings to, instead of looking white, you can have it in a dark mode. So a lot of customizations there, which I really enjoy. So I know there's been a lot of complaints about how the RAM management works on this phone. I'll be honest with you, I really didn't notice that it was that big of a deal. With my OnePlus 3, I found the phone to be plenty fast. I don't multitask with, 15, 20 different apps usually, so I personally did not see any type of issue with the RAM management. Now, here are the things that I didn't really particularly care about the OnePlus 3. So they weren't, crazy things, but just some of the things that I've noticed that kind of bothered me a little bit. So the first thing are the speakers. So the speakers are decent. So if you were to play a song on your phone and turn the music up all the way to the very top, You can definitely hear a lot of crackle, so I actually had to turn the volume down maybe 1 or 2 notches before the highest point, and at that point it was kind of too low. So I was a little disappointed in the speakers due to the fact that there was some crackle. The other thing too, and you know, there are other phones that are guilty of this. I shouldn't say guilty, but I guess the design is not quite as good as it should be, is manufacturers that put the speakers on the bottom of the phone. So I get why they're put there, but again, when you're holding the phone a certain way to watch a video, they get covered up. And maybe I'm just spoiled with a lot of the phones that I've looked at recently with speakers on the front, but they just sound better when they're on the front. So the camera, you know, I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to put the camera as a like or a dislike. The camera took really good photos in good light. I had no complaints about the camera. I'm not, you know, a photographer, so I'm not too familiar with how to tweak all the settings to kind of customize the exposure and whatnot. But the camera was really fast when you take a picture, so I have to give OnePlus 3 credit for that. The only complaint is just in low light. In low light, there are some issues in regards to noise. And also sometimes the color is just a little bit more bland. So they weren't bad, but if you compare them to, let's say, an S7, the S7 takes better photos. So the last thing that I didn't really care for about the OnePlus 3 was the battery life. So the battery life was, how could I put this, was kind of inconsistent. There would be a few days, like I said, I've had the phone for a couple weeks. There's maybe 3 or 4 days where I got, you know, 4.5, 5, sometimes more hours of screen on time. And then there would be days where I would get 3.5 to 4 hours. And I really wasn't using the phone differently than before, so I'm not really sure what caused the inconsistencies in the battery life, but definitely it was something that I noticed. The nice thing though is that it does have fast charging. It uses a proprietary fast charger through OnePlus 3 called, I think it's called Dash, which really charges the phone quick. I mean, I think I went from like 5% to 70% in like 50 minutes. So to kind of sum everything up, the OnePlus 3, I mean, you're paying $400 for a phone with very few compromises. I have to say that the dislikes that I put in this video, you know, they were kind of nitpicking. A lot of these dislikes that I've found on the OnePlus 3, you know, you find them on other phones too. So, like I said, for the price, there are some compromises, but not many. And to be honest, I could see myself potentially using the OnePlus 3 as my personal phone, as my daily driver instead of my Nexus 6P. I mean, that's how much I actually really enjoyed using the phone, and the fact that the price is so low. The OnePlus brand has left a really good impression on me. So that's it for my review, or the 3 likes, dislikes of the OnePlus 3. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the phone. Let me know if there's another phone in the same kind of price range as a OnePlus 3 that I should try out. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has left all the really great comments, and even a thank you to the people that have left constructive criticism. I'm fully open to hearing constructive criticism. And the last thing too is that we're really close to 200 subscribers, so I can't wait until that happens. I'll see about maybe if we hit the 200 subscriber mark in the next week or two, doing some type of giveaway. So my name is Chris H with Tech You Should Buy. Please comment below, please thumbs up, please subscribe, and you'll see me in the next video.